So, good afternoon, students. Welcome back to another class of Business English and Communicative Skills. Wherein, in yesterday's class, we discussed about interview skills. We understood what is the importance of interview, why one should prepare for the interview process, and what are the common steps that you have to keep in your mind whenever you are preparing for interview. To give you a quick glimpse of what we did yesterday, we discussed that whenever we talk about interview, as an applicant, if you are nervous, you should also keep in your mind that the interviewer, the company, the person who is going to conduct your interview, even he or she would be in the same state of mind, because they don't know to whom they are going to select, whether the candidate is a right candidate or not, whether he or she fits as per the job requirement or not, whether he or she is going to work as per the expectation of the organization or not. Similarly, the candidate will also be in a dilemma state, because he or she never has worked or with the organization, so he or she may not be knowing what kind of organization it is going to be, what kind of people, what kind of peer group or colleagues or the seniors are going to be there. So you should remember, anxiety will be at both the places. But once when we talk about interview, you are sharing internal opinion with each other. So when we say internal opinion, you should know that the interviewer, the one who is conducting the interview, interviewing, the one who is applying for the interview, both should try to bridge the gap. That means they should try to create a congenial environment wherein the applicant can satisfy the interviewer, and he should say that yes, I can certainly stand as per your expectation. Similarly, the interviewer must feel satisfied, must feel relaxed that the person with whom he is having the interview is actually the right candidate who can work as per the set of the organization, as per the policy, as per the norms of the organization, and can work for the betterment of the organization. So it is exchange of idea, it is exchange of opinion between two people. So whenever we are talking about exchange of idea, exchange of opinion, it has to have a fruitful relationship and a healthy talk. And so when you are going to have that healthy talk, if you remember the three C's that I emphasized: good communication, confidence should be there, the content that you are delivering should be right, should be effective one. So how can we show that yes, I am the right candidate? By writing your job application through a cover letter. We also discussed the difference between resume and CV, and how you can write an effective CV. Please remember the words that I have used. You should remember the eligibility criteria. You should know about the job description. You should know why the interviewer is asking such questions. What is the purpose behind conducting the interview? And you should also know about the job role and job description. Then we discussed the difference between resume and CV. Let us move ahead to know what a cover letter looks like. You can see here, this is a cover letter which is written on 25th of November, dated to the HR manager of XYZ Company Limited. This is in Gandhinagar, Agra. The letter is cover letter as a fresher. That means the person who's applying for this particular letter, he or she is having no work experience. So as this was shared even with the students of BBA and BCA, similarly, you can make the necessary changes at the places wherever the degree is mentioned as BBA and BCA. You can replace it with PGDM, which is affiliated with AICTE, and ours is an autonomous body. So during your post graduation, you should remember, during your post graduation, what are the experiences that you have obtained? What are the different seminars that you have obtained? What are the different seminars that you have participated in? If there are any conference, whether you have participated in those conferences or not. If you have worked as an intern, what was the job role that you have accepted as an intern? If you have taken any life project, what was the job role as an like as a project as a project member? Even these should be very well mentioned in your brief introduction. Please remember, these are just the introduction. The details of all these will be mentioned in your resume. So after giving the main details, you should also say why you have thought of doing your PGDM course. What is the reason behind PGDM course? And then in the PGDM, what is it that you are liking to become expertise with? Say, for example, would you like to become an expert in specialization of marketing, or into finance, or into HR, or information system? What are the skill sets that you have? You can see here there are different skill sets which are maintained, which are mentioned over here. That means the qualities that you are having. You are a person who can motivate others and also can remain self-focused without taking too much of stress, as you know how to work under stress condition. You are a person with good communication. You are a soft-spoken person who can deal with different clients and customers in a better way, and you also enjoy working in team. As you can see, you will also say that detailed resume is enclosed or attached. All right. So keep this in your mind. Whenever we talk about a cover letter, if you're writing on a piece of paper, this is the way you're going to write. But if this is an email, then here it will be the HR manager's email address. The subject line will be in subject line. This particular part will be in the body part of that particular letter, and whenever we are talking about the resumes, it will be included as an attachment. So keep this in your mind that as a cover letter you have to always share about yourself. Whenever we say a cover letter will talk about you, your personality, about your qualities, about your experiences as an intern. So there are a lot many things that you can disclose, that there are a lot many information that you can share in the cover letter with the HR manager, so that the person can feel happy and delighted to know more about you. So moving ahead, when we talk about the interview, please remember there are different types of interview. Now, if you remember, if you can recall, we talked about interviews even when we were talking about report writing. Do you remember that under the segment primary sources, I explained you in order to collect information, you can use questionnaire, you can conduct interview, or you can directly observe, being a participant or a non-participant. When we were discussing about interviews, I have clearly stated that it could be either structured interview or unstructured interview. In structured interview, the questions remain same. I repeat, in structured interview, there are similar kind of questions which will be asked to all the applicants. Say, for example, if Aradhana is attending an interview, Farid is attending an interview, Shubham is attending an interview, and Silky is attending an interview. These four applicants, and say for example Jyotsna is the HR manager, so Jyotsna will ask same questions to Shubham, Farid, Silky, or the Aradhana. Now similarly, when we talk about unstructured, now Jyotsna, instead of asking same questions to Farid, Aradhana, Simran, and Silky, what she is going to do, she will ask different questions to different applicants. So, for example, to Aradhana, she may ask different questions related to marketing, her specialization, her internship at a different place. Farid, she may ask different questions related to what is his interest area, what are the things that he has done during his graduation or post graduation. So different questions, when they are asked to the different candidates or the different applicants, then it is called as unstructured. I hope everybody could understand the difference between structured and unstructured. Structured, same questions asked to all applicants. Unstructured, from applicant to the other applicant, when question varies, when there is a change in the question from one applicant to the other applicant, then it is called as unstructured interview. Now these interviews can be in 5 types. There could be one-on-one interview. When I say one-on-one interview, it means interviewer and interviewee. Neeru asking question to Shubham. Neeru asking question to Simran. Neeru asking question to Sunny. Neeru asking question to Aradhana. So there is one candidate and also in front of the interviewer, only one candidate who is sitting to answer the questions that are asked by the interviewer. So I hope everybody will remember the different types of interview, and in general, whenever you people are going to attend any of the interview process, many a times, or I should say maximum times, you are going to see one-on-one interview process. All right. The next is stress interview. This is very, very important. And particularly if you're looking for a job in very good organization, you have to remember stress interview. Stress interviews are those kind of interview where even though if you give a correct response, they may challenge your answer, or they may give you a caselet or a case study and they want to know about your opinion or option, or they may blame you. They may try to encourage you so that you can lose your calm, you can lose your patience, and then you will overreact. So keep this in your mind. Many a times in many interviews, they are going to judge your patience level. They are going to check whether you are really fit to become a manager or not. So they may challenge your answers. Say, for example, you have stated a right answer, still they'll say no. You can you rethink, can you once again think about a good response, or can you correct your answer? So you should be a person who have to really calm down your nerve. They are trying to create stress, they are trying to create tension. Why? Because when we talk about management, whenever we are talking about manager, your job is not going to be an easy one. See, a person who is working as a worker in any organization, they know they are going to work for 8 hours. They will have monotonous job. When I say monotonous, that means one single kind of job. If a laborer is there and he is working on a machine which is into painting and dyeing, every day when he's going to enter into his workstation, he's going to do one single kind of job, that will be painting and dyeing. Similarly, if there is another laborer who is supposed to stitch some object, or has to pack something, or has to paint something, or has to dye something, or has to cover something, or has to count something, or has to manufacture something, their task will remain same every day throughout their life. In fact, if I talk about the workers who are working in different segments, they may work on the same floor for 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, except few who will get the opportunity of promotion and then they become the floor manager or supervisor or so and so forth. So, but when we talk about the managers, the day you're going to join the organization, though your task will remain same, but every day you are going to face different client. Every day you are going to talk to different people. Every day you may have challenges with your clients in getting the funds. So there can be any number of problems that you're going to face once when you are going to become the manager. Stress is a part of our life. Whenever we talk about management, the word management itself says that you will be in stress. Now there are two types of stress: eustress and de-stress. Eustress is something where you have full confidence that yes, you will be able to get the response positively. De-stress is something which you are scared of. This is negative stress, wherein you know that things are not going to work according to your expectation. So keep this in your mind, dear, that stress is part and parcel of our life. And during the interview process, people, many a times, many interviewers, they will question you, they will challenge your calmness, they will challenge your patience, they will challenge your tolerance by asking different questions. So you should have that calm and composed mind. Also, never bluff. This is again a tip. If you really want to become successful, never bluff. What do we understand by bluff? When you don't know the answer, don't show that I know everything. We are not God. We are not perfectionist. We all are human beings. We tend to commit mistake, and there is nothing wrong if I don't know any of my things. So therefore, if I am sitting in an interview process and if a question is asked, don't bluff that you know everything. But yes, you have to present it in a proper way instead of saying no, I don't know. You should have a proper response to that particular answer or the question, saying that why you are not able to answer it at that particular point of time. So keep this in your mind. Stress is again another kind of interview process. Computer assisted interview. How many of you have heard about aptitude test? I want to know how many of you really know what aptitude test is. Do you know what are aptitude tests? Or have you heard anyone giving an aptitude test? I see Aradhna and Ranveer, Simran saying that yes, they know what an aptitude test is. Okay. Shivam had also agreed that he knows what an aptitude test is. Thank you, Silky, for giving your response. I am now when I say aptitude test, generally it is categorized into three broad categories. People will check your mathematical skills, because you know, as a management, whenever we talk about management is associated with a business or with an organization which is into functioning of production or into services, where you want to work with the people in order to gain profit, isn't it? And whenever we are talking about profit, you should have the basic understanding of profit and loss, discount, ratios, percentages, because many a time people will ask, what percentage of discount are you going to give it to us? So you should know what is to how to work out percentages, what is the application of percentage, how to use percentage, how to use discounts, how to use the ratios, how to use say for example, if you are a marketing guy, you should know the difference between time, distance and speed. What should be the route plan? Say you are working in an organization where you have to travel to the different places of India, and if you don't know how to manage your route plan, it will be difficult for you to maintain the things or manage the things within the fixed given time. So you should know in what will be the mode, what will be the means, in what way you're going to travel, what are the shortest routes of traveling, how can you reach on time. So there can be lot many things. That is the reason mathematical aptitude is part of your day to day life as a manager. Hence aptitude test related to mathematics, related to logical and reasoning. Unless and until you are not going to think in a logical way, how are you going to work in an organization, and how can you think about the betterment of organization? So logical and reasoning is very, very important, because you have to present each and every information in a logical way. If you're doing an assignment, you should have that logical thinking. Why am I doing this assignment? If you are enrolled into life project, you should have that logical thinking. Why am I engaged into this life project? If you are working as an intern, what is the what is the benefit that I'm going to derive, or what are the benefits that I'll be deriving if I work as an intern? So you have to think in a logical way, and that reasoning will support your answer. So verbal ability again could be in English, could be in Hindi, or could be in other languages. Plus the area in which you're going to work. If it is sales, it would be related to technical questions, would be related to sales. If it is marketing research, technical questions will be related to marketing research. If it is HR, technical questions will be related to HR. If it is finance, technical questions will be related to finance. If it is software or information system, it would be related to information system. So keep this in your mind. There are computer assisted interview processes also. If you're thinking to start your career with bank, you should remember every now and then all the banking organizations, they conduct the first round that is called as aptitude test. Similarly, if you are thinking to work with a big paint organization like Nerolac, Asian Paints or Berger, you should remember the first qualifying round would be aptitude test. So aptitude test is again conducted with the help of computers. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. Online test of CAT, MAT online test, right? So again, these are examples of computer assisted tests, all right? So it's a part of your interview process. Therefore, it is called as computer assisted interview. The next is virtual interview. How many of you know that even through Skype, even through WhatsApp video call or video conferencing, that is through Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, interviews can be held? Yes. Have you heard any time your family member saying that I have a Skype interview? I don't know how many of you have really did any kind of Skype round of interviews or not, but yes, this is one of the mode or ways in which the interview will be held, particularly when the organizations are situated at different places. Say, for example, the headquarters is in Kolkata, the headquarters is in Bengaluru, or it is in Hyderabad, or in Chennai, or in Delhi, or Gurugram, and you are sitting here in Patna. You cannot travel for your interview, right? So the best way that the person is going to conduct your interview would be virtual. So keep this in your mind. Virtual interviews are online interviews wherein the video would be used in order to know about you, your personality, how do you like carry yourself, what is your body language, how do you sit, how do you talk, how do you respond. So there are many things that people will focus on, particularly through virtual interview. The last one is group interview. In this group interview, it could be many to one, many to many. I repeat, many to one or many to many. When I say many to one, it is panel interview. In the panel interview, what is going to happen? People from different departments, they all will sit in the interview room, and as an applicant, you are going to go and then conduct the interview process. How many of you know about GD? In the GD, there will be one person from the company and 10 applicants sitting. They will discuss. And that one person from the organization, he or she will identify who is the right candidate, who can be the part of the interview process, the next round of interview process, and so accordingly they will be calling that candidate. So keep this in your mind here, that group interviews are conducted. Again, they are part of our day-to-day life. It could be in the form of group discussion, it could be in the form of panel interview, and you should be prepared for all these kind of processes. All right, so did we all understand the different types of interview, or do you have any doubts related to this particular slide that I'm showing right now to you all? Yes. Thanks, Silky, for giving that confirmation, Vita. Thank you, Aradhana. Rest others, if you have any doubt, don't hesitate. Do ask the question so that it will be easy for me to understand. If you have any doubts, don't hesitate in asking. Thanks, Ranbir. Thanks, Dayaka. Thanks, Jyotsna, for giving me that confirmation, Vita. So let us move ahead to another topic, another slide that we are going to discuss. This is related to the preparation of interview. When we talk about the stages of interview, you should always remember the first preparation stage is before you appear for the interview process. Your resume is there with you, so you should read your resume. Many a times I have seen people go to cyber cafe, they get their resumes prepared, and then they don't even know what is mentioned in their resume. That is not the right way or right practice. If you really want to clear your interview process in one single go, you should know and you should read each and everything that is mentioned on your resume. Try to ask questions, try to prepare questions so that you can also know what is the right answer that you're going to prepare and speak. And at the same time, as I said, ask question. You should also prepare certain questions related to the organization which can attract the interviewer, which should really make the interviewer feel that yes, you have very well prepared for the interview process. Do not wear such clothes which are difficult for you to manage. Wear comfortable clothes. Do take the rehearsal of the interview process, that is mock interview. You all must have heard about this mock drill. So similarly, the mock interviews can be conducted. You can ask your friend to conduct a mock interview. You can ask your brother or sister to conduct a mock interview, or you can sit in front of your parents and you can ask them to conduct the interview. Because maximum time we hesitate to speak in front of our parents. So that would be a best practice if you really want to give a shot before the final interview process. So create that rehearsal part in your life and then be a part of it so that you can know it, at which point you are babbling or at which point you are fumbling, what are the areas in which you require lots of practice, and then you can practice. There are basic questions which are asked during every interview process, like introduction. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why should I hire you? Why have you chosen ISM Patna for your PGDM course? in what way you are going to be beneficial for the organization. So there are certain common questions. So you should know about the basic questions that can be asked by the interviewer, and you can prepare the answers very well. I'm not asking you to mug it up. I'm not asking you to by heart the answers. What I'm trying to say is keep a logical answer and logical responses in your mind, so that when somebody is asking you questions, you should be able to answer them. The strategy that you're going to deal, particularly related to stress interview, should be with you. That means you should always have a smile. You should know what answer is right, what answer is wrong. And when you are asked many questions, you should remember to have calm or peace of mind. And that is possible only when you are a good meditator, when you understand the importance of stress interview, when you understand the importance of the role of manager in an organization. So prepare that strategy. Vacancy, the details related to the vacancy, like what is the job profile. Profile means the designation on which you people are going to get hired. You should know the job profile or the designation of the job. You should know the job description or job responsibilities. What are the important things that as an employee you're going to do, or you're going to work on. You should know about your employer. You should know about the organization in detail. So company specific preparation, this is very, very important. And if you ask me, in India, hardly good students, they applied this technique. Rest others, if there are 60 students, only 5 do prepare with this particular segment, that is reading the vacancy details, knowing about the employers and the organization, and then coming with complete preparation. Otherwise, more of the emphasis and focus is on resume and on their dress. That's it. So if you start preparing for your interview by knowing the job profile, knowing the job description, and then knowing about the organization, certainly you're going to speak with great commitment and confidence in front of the interviewer. The day you are going to practice this is called as company specific preparation. Say, for example, today there is an interview process of HDFC Bank. So today it is your responsibility that you should know complete details of HDFC Bank. And tomorrow, if Kotak Mahindra is going to come, immediately you should know about Kotak Mahindra. You cannot say that, man, my resume is ready. You can make me sit in any of the interview process and I can get through it. That is again overconfidence. You have to create good relationship with the person whosoever is going to conduct your interview. How can you do that? By knowing about the company, by knowing about that organization, and by letting them know that why you want to join that particular organization. If you just say, I want to join the organization so that I can act as an asset of that organization, how are you going to act as an asset? What is it that you're going to do? What is their requirement? How can you fulfill their requirement? That can be possibly addressed when you know job description. That is the reason, if you remember yesterday I said, when somebody is asking you a question, why should I hire you? You should have a proper answer to that particular question. You need to prepare from the job description. Know about the interview place, where the interview is scheduled, at what time it is scheduled. Do you have the good number of copies of resume or not? Are you carrying a paper and pen or not? Take your breakfast at proper time. Take lots of water. Liquid is very important, because if you consume lots of liquid, it is going to give you good stamina as well as oxygen, which can help you think in an active way. So keep these common things in your mind whenever you are preparing for the interview process. The moment once when you reach the place where you are going to give the interview, please remember, arrive on good time. That means if the interview is scheduled at 10 o'clock, try to reach there by 9:45 a.m. Also remember the way you're going to enter. Don't be loud, don't shout. Give a proper, like, enter into the place in a right way. The moment you are going to enter into the room of the interview, you should know to wish people, greet people. If asked to handshake, only then you should handshake. Otherwise, walk properly, create a good eye contact, have a smile on your face, and then, unless and until you are not asked to sit, stand and wait for the proper response from the interviewer. When the interview starts, during the time of interview, know who you are. It is very important. When you know about yourself, you can introduce yourself in a better way. Be very honest and sincere. That is what I said. Don't bluff. When you don't know the answer, don't give wrong answers. And don't show that you are a super smart guy. So it's better to say, I don't know the answer, because they appreciate your sincerity. Talk only that is required. Talking too much, again, is not appreciated. There has to be a proper full stop to your answers. That means where to stop and where to continue. Don't be afraid if you don't have a clarity of the question. Wherever the questions are ambiguous or you have a confusion related to the question, better you ask for the clarity. Try to like explain your answers with certain examples, and these examples should be related to your life, should be related to your day-to-day life. Be ready to sell yourself, because it is you who is going to negotiate about yourself. It is you who is going to pitch about yourself in front of the interviewer. So you should always know what you are, present yourself in a better way, so that the person must be interested, and this interest is generated only from your answers. If you are answering with the high attitude by saying that I'm a very good guy, I can get through all the interview processes, that shows your high attitude. Always remember, be down to the earth, answer the questions in a best possible way, and then respond to the questions in the best possible way. Please remember one thing, that interviewer is trying to find a person who can work in team. So if you are overconfident, they are going to reject you. If you are trying to show that you are very, very intelligent, again, they will try to reject you. Reason is, you should also be ready to learn. You should also be ready to accept. You should also learn to listen to others. These are the three things which you all have to keep in your mind. Listen to others, agree to what they say, and also know when to say no whenever they are asking or sharing wrong things. Final stage, once when the interview is done, you should also remember to look into the eyes of the interviewer, because if there is a smile and if there is a spark in his eyes, that means that yes, you are going through that particular interview process in a good way. So always observe the body language, because faces, they deliver a lot of information. Whenever they are happy, satisfied, there will be spark in their eyes. You can see with their facial expressions. So observe the body language of the interviewer. Always remember, thank him or her in a proper way, greet them in a proper way, learn from the experiences, and also remember to ask for the feedback. In case if you have come to know that you could not satisfy them, then you should know, you should try to find out a proper feedback from them, that what could not satisfy, what is it that is lacking behind in you. The day when you're going to prepare like this for the interview process, trust me, there is no dearth of job. Generally, people say, ma'am, after MBA or PGDM course, only 8% of population, 12% of population, they are getting placed. Wherein I deny this. Because if you are a person who knows who you are, what you are, then there is a job which is easily available. The only thing is you should work out on your knowledge, skill, attitude. Attitude is toughest thing to change. You need to understand that if you are here in a state like Bihar, you will be you will have to face lots of challenges. Challenge number one, mindset. We believe that we are the best. Are we really the best? Ask yourself. If you are not the best, what are the areas which are gray areas in which you have to develop? Did you start developing yourself? If not, if your answer is no, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for another course? Are you waiting for a year to pass by? Don't wait. Start improving, start practicing. And practice is something which can start even from today. So keep this in your mind. This is very, very important. Know about people, try to connect with people who are in corporate, talk to them. I'm not asking you to call them, telephone them and say that, see, my Niru ma'am has asked me to call and contact you so that I can have a communication. No. I'm asking about communication through chats, through emails, or even through LinkedIn posts. You can communicate with n number of corporates and they can help you a lot. But for that, you should have good network on LinkedIn. You should have good network even on Facebook. Chatting just with unknown people, liking their pictures and sharing on the profile, wow, good, handsome, beautiful. These are, for this, you will have lots of time. Even after your retirement at the age of 40, 45, you will still have 40 years to do all these activities. But when I talk about a present generation student who is 22, 23, 24, if you are working for 15 long years very sincerely with great effort, don't you think at the age of 40 and 45, you can say, thank you very much, I've worked a lot and this is the age of my retirement. And then you can travel to different places. You can have a wonderful life with your family members and you can have all fun and all enjoyment. And for that, be prepared to face the tomorrow in a better way. And that is possible only when you are preparing yourself in the present. That is the reason why I always ask my students, tomorrow, if you want your tomorrow to be the better one, start preparing in your present, and that is the best way. So start your practice from today itself. All right, that's all in our today's class. As we have discussed, we talked about the different types of interview, we talked about the different stages of interview. In tomorrow's class, we are going to talk about group discussion. We are going to talk about role plays. We are going to talk about impromptu speech and extempore and how these are very, very important in our day to day life. Along with that, we are going to also understand about speaking skills. Okay, so tomorrow's topic would be speaking skills and the importance of speaking skills in the life of managers. In case if you have any doubt related to whatever I have shown you people, you can definitely ask me.